Happy Monday and good morning. Welcome, senior high school students and viewers. Welcome to the philosophy of the human person. Our topic for today is about the human person as an embodied spirit. The human person is an important subject in philosophy, and understanding the nature and condition of the person is one of the foremost goals of the discipline. Philosophers have long pondered human nature, what it means to be human, and what sets apart from other beings and things in existence. We often ask ourselves what makes us special. Pondering our human nature allows us to determine the special traits that make us humans unique as a species. Further reflection of our nature, humans will also help us figure what makes us special as individuals and how this uniqueness is shared with our fellow human beings. In this activity, I want you to explain in the concentric circle what do you mean by mind, body, and soul. So that's great. Now, before we continually start with our lesson, I want to define some terms like person. This refers to an individual who possesses self-awareness, self-determination, rational mind, and a capacity to interact with others and with him or herself. Human beings. This is a term used to separate man from other human classifications like animals. When we say person, this is a philosophical term used, while human beings are the scientific term that is being used. When we say human person, we have two types, the cognitive self and the physical self. When we say cognitive self, it is something within and cannot be physically seen. This is the essential components of a human person that deals with the what of a person, which includes human person's belief, desire, dreams, and intentions. On the other hand, physical self is something that can be seen in his or her physical appearance, which deals with the essential features of the human way of life or the who of a person, which includes his or her body type, strength, and appearances. What is an embodied spirit? It is known to be the driving force behind what we actually think, do, or say. It is indeed the reflection of our total being by which our sensations lead to our human feelings, emotions, and decision. When we say embodied, in Tagalog, it is kumakatawan. Embodied spirit means inseparable union between the body and the soul. This, may, this makes us distinct from other person. The most basic definition of human being relates the nature of humans as animals. However, philosophers believe that human being is not just a mere animal. There is something in the human individual that sets him or her apart from other beings. These special traits make a human a distinct individual person. So if I will ask, are you a rock, a lamp, or a dog? There are several obvious reasons why you replied no to each of the questions. However, let us explore the reasons why you cannot consider yourself as one of those. Based on a purely physical comparison, we can confidently state that we share no physical similarities with a rock and lamp, as they are non-living things composed of inorganic materials. Looking at the dog, however, you may see a number of shared traits or features. Humans and animals are living beings and thus share many attributes. We both have eyes, ears, nose, mind, a mouth, a body, and though these are shaped in different ways, being a living, breathing, functioning organism, a characteristic that we share with our other organisms that occupy this planet. Though living is an essential feature of being a human, it cannot be the defining feature that sets apart and makes us as a human person. We need to look deeper and figure out what really sets us apart from other beings, from other living things. So how do we differ from the dog? For example, you put your clothes on your pet, you give your pet a toy to play with, you make it live in your house, you teach it to behave properly around other people, you give it birthday parties and invite other people to attend and celebrate. By doing these things, do you make your pet a human person? The answer is of course no. Despite the action and intentions of people who really love animals, animals are fundamentally different as humans. Though we share a number of similarities with other members of the animal kingdom, there are certain things that we possess, traits and capabilities that are not found in other organisms. Now, look at your pet more deeply to really make sense of personhood. Is your pet truly aware of what is happening around us? Can your pet feel emotions the same way that you do? Is your pet capable of reflection? Can it question its nature or identity as a dog? Can your pet reflect on its actions and behavior? Do you think it can feel guilt or satisfaction in some way you do? Studying these questions will give you an idea of what defines human as person and what philosophers look for in their search to define human person. So what are the qualities of human person as an embodied spirit? Externality. When we say externality, this is the capability of a person to reach out and interact with others and the world. That we are not alone. And as the saying goes, no man is an island. Next, self-determination. This refers to the capability of the person to make choices and decisions based on their own preferences, monitor and regulate their actions, and goal-oriented and self-directed. We are persons because we act and we are aware of our actions. Try and raise your right hand. Are you able to do it? Who makes you raise your right hand? You may argue that you are instructed to do so. However, the actual action of raising your hand is yours alone. Your teacher does not have a remote control that can control your bodily actions. Neither do the printed words in this book possess the power to directly control your body. You alone decide to comply with the instruction given to raise your right hand, and it is you alone who make your own arm move and to raise your hand. Our free will enables us to do action whenever we want to do and makes self-determination possible. Free will is the capacity to choose, of course, the course of action from various alternatives. The existence of free will enables a person to act willfully, control his or her actions, and recognize himself or herself as the source of action. And lastly is dignity. Dignity, which is also related with the ethics, which is the morality of the goodness or badness of an act. The final trait that distinguishes the person is dignity, or the innate right to be valued and respected. Philosophers considered all humans as having an inherent worth or value. Philosophers, however, do not equate value or worth with any quantifiable measure such as price. Each person is worth the same as another person in the same that every person is priceless, unique, unrepeatable, and irreplaceable. We do not value another person in the same way that we assign values to things such as cars, houses. Putting a price on a person diminishes human dignity since we tend to value some people more while we diminish the worth of others. This is why we consider the statement, "You're worthless," is an insult since it attacks the very notion of a person having a value or worth. What are the limitations of the human person? So as a person, we have limitations. We cannot fly like a bird. But despite that, we have an intellect, so we created an airplane so we can fly in the sky. So that's make us distinct from other living beings. So the next term is transcendence. As a human person, we have natural tendencies. Some of these are felt bodily functions like hunger, fatigue, etc. Transcendence means overcoming oneself or being in control, or even if body reminds us of some tendencies, although these tendencies are felt, the person can govern them and ensure them that they are exercised within the bounds and beyond the reason. We should remember that transcending can be attained through enough effort and perseverance. For example, you are in a classroom and you are very hungry. So, as a human, we have the capacity to wait for the recess time in order to eat. So, we can control our body tendencies human, unlike other living things like dogs. Like dogs, they cannot control their hunger, unlike human beings. It is through our limitations that possibilities become real. So thank you very much. I hope you have understand our lesson for today. Um, as a recap, a person has an awareness of self. It has self-determination. A human person is able to reach out and interact with others. And lastly, human person has dignity. So thank you. That's all. And see you again in our next lesson.